So we can go ahead and kick it off, right? I think we can go ahead and kick it off. I see quite a few people are on. Um, yes, I see y'all say yes, yes for the excitement. Awesome. One second. I see. Okay. It's got it's got one of my team members on there twice. All right. So we are going to go ahead and get started. I want to start on time. I get that people are trying to find their links and get access, but I like to get started on time. So, hello, and welcome everyone to how to create a six-figure premium beauty brand that stands out online without posting like crazy on social media, even if you have a small audience. And so, hello, for those who don't know me, my name is Fatima Barnes, and I teach women beauty bosses how to build, grow, and scale their beauty brands to six figures without overwhelm or guesswork, even with those small audiences or small followings, which is usually the biggest reason why a lot of people worry so much about their brand. So that is what I do and who I am. And I am so excited to talk to you guys tonight. So, what I like to do when we do these kind of trainings and when I do these things is I like to do a roll call, right? I don't like my time wasted, and I know you guys don't like your time wasted. So, we're going to do a roll call to make sure that you're in the right place, okay? So, is this you? Are you a woman who wants to build a successful beauty or wellness brand? And that can really be hair care, hair products and accessories, hair extensions, makeup, cosmetics, lashes, spiritual wellness, weight loss products, aromatherapy products, nails, nail care, candles, you name it. Anything that is dedicated to the mind, body, and soul, I like to consider beauty and wellness. If that is you, you are in the right place. If you want consistent customers and profitable five-figure months in your business, then you're in the right place. Okay. If you're tired of posting like crazy on social media and dedicating hours upon hours to your Facebook and Instagram, and to no avail, you still have not gotten the sales that you desire, this is for you. You recognize that the current way you've been doing business is not working, and you fear that you may not sustain any longer if you continue on the same path that you're on, which can be quite discouraging. You may also realize that now is the time to make a major move, or you may give up, because let's just face it, 2020 and 2021 has taught and is teaching us that you can never get too comfortable. And you know that it's time to make a move. It's time to make the move that you need to make that will set you on the path that you need to be on. Or maybe you're really just tired of the constant game of trying to chase customers and obtain customers. You're really starting to feel like it's this cat and mouse, and you feel like a marketer. You feel like all kind of things all in one, and you're tired of that game, and you're ready to see some consistency with that. Or maybe for some of you, you're ready to really increase your profit margins without having to sacrifice quality or even your standards to do it. You want to build a legacy that brings you fulfillment, right? You know that you're meant for something bigger. You know that you have something that you can offer this world through the products and services that you have that is necessary, that's needed. Or you're tired of working that job you hate. How many can touch and agree with that one, right? Tired of working the job that you hate, you're really craving a level of freedom that only a purpose-driven business can bring you. So if you've answered yes to one or more of those questions above, then you are in the right place. Now, I will be remiss if I didn't talk about who this training is not for. This training is not for people who are just like, I just want drop shipping information and to go on about my business, right? It's not for you. If all you want is for me to just say, here's how you find vendors and here's how you market on social media, this is also not going to be the training for you. If you don't really care about the product quality that you offer and you just want to put something out there, probably not going to be for you. If you want to be the cheapest option in the marketplace, also not for you. If you just want a side hustle and you're really not passionate about what you're trying to sell, you just want to sell something, you're going to struggle as well. If you're not open to new perspectives, because I'm going to probably say some things that you're going to be like, what? No, huh? you're probably in the wrong place. If you're not really willing to dedicate the time and energy into really building a premium beauty brand, and I'm not talking any brand, I'm talking premium, ladies. And you only want to get into business for one reason and one reason only, and that is money. And let me tell you, if money is your only reason for wanting to get into business, you're going to be sorely disappointed. Literally, you're going to be sorely disappointed. So if that is your one and only motivation, you're in the wrong place. So if you're still here at this point, welcome and congratulations, you made it this far. So let's really get into it. Today, I'm going to talk to you about some things that I want to share with you today. Today, I'm going to share with you the exact steps you can implement to quickly launch and build your own premium, long-lasting is the key word, beauty and or wellness brand that actually attracts, but not only does it attract, but it converts customers. Again, even if you don't have a large following, I will share with you the number one secret top earning business owners in the beauty space are doing differently to stand out in a heavily saturated industry, and how you can implement these techniques starting today. I also share with you the easy formula to go from struggling in sales to building a six-figure brand in your business. And I'll also share with you the ninja technique that will allow you to instantly raise your price without losing potential customers. The secret to a money generating launch, even if you're just starting out and you don't have a big list. And lastly, I will share with you why constantly posting like crazy on social media, sliding in the DMs, depending on your family and friends, joining groups and begging for follows and sales is the most painful way to grow your brand, and what you should do instead. How many of you have actually been there or feel like you have been there in that place where you have done all of these different things and it just hasn't worked? I will instead share with you how to fast track your results and launch and grow your beauty and or wellness brand quickly and confidently. How to turn a prospective customer into a client in half the time by solving your visibility issues. How to obtain omnipresence so that your ideal customer can finally find you. So are y'all ready to begin, right? Because I am going to do all of this within the time that I have you tonight. So if you are ready, put a 1 in the chat if you are ready for this. Let me see. Gotcha. Okay. So in return, I'm going to ask a few things of you all, okay? I ask that you eliminate any distractions and grab a pen and paper so that you can take notes. I want you to be present and really commit to consuming the strategies and tips needed to grow your beauty brand, because it is going to be a lot, even with all that I can squeeze in to share with you tonight. It's still going to be a lot. So you want to take notes. You want to try to consume them. Stick around until the end to see if you qualify for a free 101 strategy session where you'll get some much needed clarity. And these strategy sessions aren't for everyone, so make sure you stick around to see if you qualify, okay? But there's more, because I did have a certain promise that I have for you ladies, and that is one lucky woman tonight will be randomly selected to win a $250 cash really toward her business, right? Obviously, I will want you to put it into your business for you to grow, and a free coaching session with me. Now, breakthrough sessions and those strategy sessions that I talked about and an actual coaching session is different. So stick around and see if you win that. But I'm going to go over how you're going to be eligible to win that. And so for some of you, this is going to be easy because you're already probably following me. So rule number 1 is to be sure that you're following me on Instagram at the Ambition Academy _. The link is going to be in the chat here shortly for you, to make it easier for you to get to it. Thanks, team. And then if you are watching this tonight at any point, if you share a pic or a selfie, it doesn't have to be of you. It could be of your computer. It could be of your notes, whatever. And tag me at the Ambition Academy. And again, you don't have to, if you get to a point in the training tonight where you're really feeling it and you're like, oh, I'm loving it, then you post it. You don't have to do it right now. It's whenever you feel moved before the end of the training, just to let people know you're watching, or just tag me. You don't even have to say anything, and stay until the end. So are we tracking and on the same page? If we are, put a 1 in the chat. If you have any questions, let me know, and myself or my team will be sure we answer them for you. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Okay. So as I promised you, ladies, I'm a woman of my word. There is zero buy button to hit today. This is not one of those trainings where you're going to get to the end and I'm going to say, pull out your credit cards and pay me. That's not how it works. Even if you wanted to pull out your credit card and pay me tonight, you won't be able to do so. This is going to get some valuable information. You're going to get some valuable tips and things that you should know. And then we will talk about next steps at that point, but there is no opportunity to buy tonight. So put the purse away, put your credit card away. It's not that. All right. So we good? We good. So let me introduce myself for those who do not know me. I'm going to briefly introduce to you all who I am, a little bit about my story so that you can have a better idea of why you should even be listening to me. That makes sense. So over the last 8 years, I have truly been changing the DNA of brands and helping them be more profitable. And in that work, I've helped generate over $5.7 million in revenue across 450 businesses. And I've worked with big brands such as Lululemon, Nose Frida, Insomnia Cookies, and more. I have moved over 690,000 shipments and over 300 products, which help businesses save at least $20,000 annually in shipments to increase their profit margins. I've worked across. So one of the things that's different about me from other business coaches is I don't just have this one area, this one lane of beauty that I can bring to you knowledge and experience. I come with working with over 30 plus industries. So beauty and wellness is one, but also law, fashion, books, entertainment, technology, cosmetics, pharmaceuticals, fashion, and more. So I have a wealth of knowledge to bring in the business space. My work has been featured in Yahoo Finance, New York Weekly, US Reporter, CEO Weekly, LA Wire, Business Insider, the Chicago Journal, countless podcasts, and countless women empowerment events. And my work has also been featured and worn in my own beauty brand in Hollywood on the red carpet by a host of Stacey Ike on the Oprah Winfrey Network, a popular YouTuber Yoni Rose, reality TV star Uche of season 6 MTV's Are You the One? And with all that I have learned, I now spend my days teaching women just like you to create life-changing brands by turning your passions into profit. So that's like an overview, but let's really, before there was the features in the media, before I have become the beauty coach, right? Before all of that, I was a corporate woman. This is a picture of me. You can see how times has really changed. Makeup has evolved. I got my big time corporate job and I spent years doing this right now, doing just what you see me doing, helping businesses grow. And I told you guys, I worked with $1 million companies and helped companies grow to $1 million brands. And I did that. And I always wanted to be a consultant of some kind. I went to one of the best business schools in the land where I got my bachelor's degree, the Jackson State University. And while I was there, I always said I wanted to work with small businesses, got my degree in marketing, but I didn't feel like I could do it yet because I hadn't ran a business of my own. And so in that time, I found this job and it was a big time corporate job. And I feel like a big girl now, like, okay, I'm doing this. This is what I said I wanted to do, but I'm doing it for a huge Fortune 500 company. And so this picture of me is obviously a long time ago when I first started out on my journey of working with businesses, like my first week of training. So it was all good until it wasn't. So then a friend of mine came to me at the time, and said, we should start our own hair line. We would be great at it. You're great at business and I can be creative. Let's work together and start this beauty brand. And so the T on that is I did, right? And it almost bankrupted me. I almost went bankrupt. And when I say that I have been in your shoes, I mean it. When I first started, I was all over the place. I had a bad business partner. That business partner ended up to be the worst thing. She did not help. I ended up doing everything by myself. I ended up funding everything by myself. Misappropriation of funds. It was a disaster. I was in debt to my ears from this business, and I felt like a failure. And I was truly at my lowest. If you actually see this picture here, this was me in LA for a show for my hair, because I networked a lot, let me tell you, honey. But this was me for a show. And I remember being at the show when I took this picture thinking like, it's gotta be a better way. It's got to be a way to turn the situation around, because I am just not I was all over the place and truly was at my lowest. So when I say I have also built a beauty brand and turned it around, I mean it. And so I changed, right? I dropped the business partner, took over the business by myself. I figured out what I got to do. I got a coach, I got some assistance with finances, and I started, and I had achieved so much. Here is Stacey Ike while she's wearing my product, hosting the show on the Oprah Winfrey Network. Here is a pageant queen, Miss Black USA in 2017, wearing my hair on the local news. Here is a celebrity media correspondent wearing my hair for events on the red carpet all the time. Here's Jenny Rose. Here is a reality TV star, Uche. They all were wearing this, and I had done everything that I could possibly do, and it just wasn't enough to keep me there. At that point, I was done. I was burned out. The damage had been done, and I was ready to walk away. So I sold the company and decided to do what I am doing now after a couple of years later, and that is help women just like you. So these lessons and the things that I've learned has really served as the foundation of why I do what I do. It is for women just like you. And so after some hard work and moving forward, here's a picture of me on my last day of my corporate job. And I was really tired of feeling unfulfilled and unappreciated there. And by the time I was leaving, I was truly on track to completely, in less time, replace my income in my business. And the good news is, regardless of what kind of business you have, this can happen for you. My goal, if you are not working on your business full time, is for you to take this very same picture on the last day of your job. So that's a little bit about me. That's my story. Now I'm doing what I love and helping women every day grow their own brands. So let's get into these 4 major roadblocks standing in your way of success. So at this point, might be where you want to get your notebook out, okay? So we're going to talk about the 4 major roadblocks that's keeping you stuck. Are we ready, ladies? Are we ready to get into these roadblocks? Because you need to know what these are so that you can move forward and make sure that we're not stuck, right? Okay. So the first major roadblock is information paralysis. And what is information paralysis? You may have heard of this term, but it is when you truly have too much information to the point that it keeps you stuck in the same place. Okay, it is when you are literally searching all over the internet for the solution to find consistent customers, or you haven't even started yet because you don't know where to begin. You've watched countless webinars like this one, you've read the books, you bought the vendors list, you followed the inspiring IG pages, and yet you're even more confused. You ask for help in different Facebook groups, and you ask other entrepreneurs, and you try out multiple strategies, and to no avail, nothing works consistently. And so you're even more confused because the information is conflicting. It's totally different strategies all over the place that you're finding. And you're probably on this webinar wondering if I am going to lead you down the same path of confusion and tell you the same information you've heard, such as some of the following, just to name a few: the social media hell. You're constantly telling, where people say, just keep posting and keep promoting, it's gonna happen, right? And you hold your breath and you see if someone will go from liking your post to making a purchase, because that's what you're being told, the information that you're giving. Or those follow for follow group networking, where people tell you just join groups with your ideal customers and keep posting your link and hope that people buy. Or the family and friends game. just get your family and friends to be ambassadors and share, and purchase from you. You can't get rich off your family and friends. So those are some of the strategies that are out there that I see is the most common strategies that cause information paralysis, and it keeps you stuck because you're getting so many different strategies, you're getting so many different perspectives. This probably doesn't even apply to you, but you don't know it because it's so many different strategies, you're confused. How many of you feel that way right now, that you're just so confused by all of the information that you get, that you just want a clear strategy? You just want to know, what am I supposed to do to get from point A to point B? All right, I see. Exactly. Okay. Number two, this is a big one. Many people don't realize that they're doing this, but you are blending in when you're meant to stand out. And a lot of people think that they're standing out, like, oh, I'm gonna do this different color and that's gonna help me stand out. But you're literally doing all of the techniques that's causing you to blend in. You are not meant to blend in, especially when you enter an industry such as the beauty industry. It is so important that you don't blend in, but that's what many of you guys are doing because that's what you think you're supposed to do, right? And so you work so hard to launch your brand or even begin the process of putting it all together, and you put your heart and soul into it. I've been there, trust me. And after all your efforts, you wonder why no one is buying. You hear crickets. And to be honest, you're like, I don't understand, because I've done all of this work and I'm putting it out there and I've done so much, and you just can't understand. And the truth is, despite your efforts, the biggest problem I see is that your brand is actually perceived as just another insert your company industry type. And it's heartbreaking and it's discouraging because you're like, how can they not buy from me? And more than likely, the biggest reason why you're blending in is because you haven't highlighted why people should actually buy from you. Okay. No one knows much about your brand. No one knows what makes it different from anybody else's. And you're doing these strategies and techniques that you think are like, this is the standard for what I'm doing, so I'm just going to do this. And you're not standing out, and you're blending in, and you're getting lost in the sea of beauty products. Okay. And additionally, you haven't really even made it clear who you even want to buy from you. Why do they need to buy from you? And I always tell my clients, if you're talking to everyone, you're talking to no one, because you're all over the place. Many of you feel like you have to have 50 million products and it's so forth and so forth. And so now you're just getting lost in the sauce, right? You're getting lost among all of these beauty products because you're doing these techniques that you think that you're supposed to do, that's causing you to blend in and not stand out. Roadblock number 3, you're not priced right. And this is a big one, okay? Pricing matters, okay? Listen, you do not have to keep having 50 different sales every day, lowering your prices, being super cheap to get customers to compete. You don't have to do that. Yes, even if you're new, you can most certainly charge what you're worth and make profit, because I hate to break it to you, if you are not making profit, you do not have a busy business. You have a very expensive hobby. And so your customers will gladly pay you the prices you offer, even if you're offering luxury products. If your business is on point, your prices can be justified. There is a reason why people will pay $2,000 for a Louis Vuitton bag as opposed to a Target bag. And don't get me wrong, I love Target, but it may be the same quality or similar. And there's a reason why people will drop $2,000. So trust me, sis, if you want to have premium products, you're probably priced too low, and it is scaring off customers who will gladly pay you more. Do not let anybody tell you that you are priced too high. How many brands do we know that don't apologize for the prices that they charge? Okay. You're probably priced. I know that you're not priced right, and it's really holding you back. It is a major roadblock. You will be surprised what happens when you change your prices. And the last roadblock, and this is a big one because many people don't realize this, but your ideal customer doesn't even know you exist. I hate to break it to you, but your ideal customer, especially on a large scale, doesn't even know you're there. I know, right? I get it. You've built this website and logo and you've created your social media pages and you're starting to get some likes and views on your posts and you have comments and people are watching your videos and you're patiently waiting for someone to add to cart to buy. And you get a few sales here and there, right? But not consistently. And so you rationalize it by saying, maybe it's because I'm new. So maybe I need more content. Maybe I need to get brand ambassadors and get my family and friends to just continue to post and spread the word. And so you spend hours promoting in groups. You spend even more time posting on social media all day. You got the perfect hashtags. You then start to notice people beginning to follow you and maybe share a post or two. And you think, okay, now I'm more visible. I'm doing all of this on social media. They see me now, and I'm gonna just keep doing it until they see me. But the truth is, your ideal customer still may not even know you exist despite all of your efforts because you are using outdated marketing strategies with a heavy emphasis on vanity metrics. And what are vanity metrics? It's metrics such as how many likes did my post get? How many follows do I have on my page, right? How many people watched this video? How many people shared this video? And you're running your business off vanity metrics and you're thinking that you're visible and you're actually not on the scale that you need to be at to get consistent customers. Okay. And so why have we been told this? Why have we been told that get your website and logo first, get the perfect website and logo first and spend thousands on it and get you 10,000 followers on Instagram, be famous or be a social influencer, post 10 times a day on your page, buy followers, slide into DMs, start a YouTube channel, offer cheap prices. We know the family and friends game, compromise your integrity, do 50 million pop-up shops, and basically be superhuman. Like, did I get all of that? Because that's a lot. And I'm tired. I'm tired just saying all of that. That is a lot to do to run a business. And I know that we think that that is what we should be doing to run a business because that's what we're told. If you're an entrepreneur, you're gonna be busy, you're gonna be doing all of this, you gotta be everything. And it's so not true and it's not fair to you guys. So we're gonna get some clarity tonight. We're gonna get very clear right now. We're going to get clear on what you actually should be doing or where you should be focusing your efforts by introducing my 5C acceleration method to see success in your beauty brand. So how many of you are ready to get into these 5 C's? The 5 steps that you need to take to see that success that you're looking for in your beauty brand. Let's get into it. All right. So the first step, get your pens out, is create. Create. And what I mean by create, this is the base of it all. This is the step that many people miss, or when people say you need to set the foundation, you guys don't even know what that even means. You need to create a clearly defined foundation of your business. What happens when you have a house and you don't build a foundation on it? Not the proper foundation. As soon as the storm comes, as soon as the first natural disaster comes, it's going to fall. It doesn't have the proper foundation. Or let's look at it this way. If you skip this step and you go straight to marketing what you have, it's the equivalent of having a half finished house and having a housewarming for it. You're inviting all these people over and the house ain't even finished. House ain't even barely standing. Foundation ain't even together. This is why this is the most critical step that you cannot skip, that people skip all too commonly because they go straight to let me get my logo and my website first. So I'm going to tell you the 2 elements of a solid foundation, and I'm going to actually give you some tips on how you can start working towards figuring out the foundation of your business. There's 2 elements. 1 is finding your unique advantage, and 2, it is a clear and profitable niche. Okay. So these are the 2 elements that you can start. And I'm not just going to tell you this, I'm going to give you some tips on where you can start to start finding your unique advantage. Because if you do not have this, you are going to struggle to attract customers and especially attract them on a consistent basis because you don't know any of this and you just got a website and logo and you based it off what you like and what you want. So what is your unique advantage? This is big. This is key, okay? because long gone are the days where people just buy things without any kind of research or without any kind of connection to the brand. Okay, this is where you take what makes you you, what makes you unique, what makes your business unique, what makes your business special, your strengths, your talents, why you're doing this, and it's where it meets what people want, need, and are willing to pay for. And you operate right there. It's also called the sweet spot. So the sweet spot is where the money is, okay? Because you're meeting the demand of the market with what you have to offer, what makes you unique and special. So what I would recommend that you do is really think about why you even want to do this. What is your vision for this brand? What is your mission? Okay. And people think they briefly do like a mission statement and like, oh, but they don't really go deep in detail like I need you to do. I need you to figure out how to leverage your strengths. What makes you so special? What makes the product that you have or you want to offer? What is going to make your brand special? Okay. And that, what is that one thing, that one edge, that one level of experience that you have, or one piece of the pie with whatever you want to offer that only you can bring, right? There's 7 billion people in the world, but there's only one you. So there is something about you and what you want to do and what you want to achieve with your brand that is very unique, that nobody else can do or nobody else has. And so I suggest you sit there and really clearly think through these things and really clearly think about what is going to make my product or my service and me different than all of my competitors out there. If you don't know this and you can't communicate this, you're going to struggle. If you paid attention to what I was doing in the beginning of the training when I introduced myself, everything that I did was highlighting my unique advantage, what makes me unique, right? There's a million other coaches out there, but here's what I have to bring to the table. And you need to be able to do that whether you have a product or service. What does your product have that you bring to the table that no one else has, or what edge or what something special that you do that other brands aren't doing or other people aren't doing? You need to be very clear on that, because that is where you need to operate, in that sweet spot of what people want, need, and are willing to pay for, which is your demand, and what you bring to that. And if you cannot clearly define that, first, you don't have any business getting a website and a logo yet. So you need to start there. And if you already have a business that's up and running, take a step back and do this. I promise you it's going to make a big difference. So we talked about the unique advantage, but the second part of that is a clear niche. Okay. Niche. You cannot serve everybody. You have to find your niche. So many people that I talk to, they operate in the industry. There is a difference between a niche and an industry. Niche, whatever you say, tomato, versus an industry. Okay. So an industry standpoint, let me give you guys an example. I'm a coach. Coaching is the industry, but there's so many different types of coaches, right? I'm a business coach, but you have life coaches, you got dating coaches, you got all these different coaches. That's narrowing it down even further. But then you take it a step further. Who are you using? Who are you coaching for? I'm coaching beauty brands. That's a niche. Okay. It can happen in the cosmetics. You have millions of people who sell eyelashes, right? Okay. That's the industry. Beauty eyelashes, what you're selling, but who are you selling this for? Is this for the pros? Is this for the beginners? Is this for, people who like a natural look? What is your niche in there? And the biggest thing that you need to think about when it comes to finding your niche is you need to take in consideration your unique advantage, one, but you got to find that diamond in the rough, that untapped in sweet spot within that, and cater to the hell out of them. Not saying you won't ever have competitors, but you will lower your competitors when you niche down in your business, right? I'll give you an example. You cannot talk to a basketball player the same way as a football player. They're in sports, they're ballers, right? They're on teams that they have similarities, but they have two totally different needs and pain points. A football player may have totally different pain points than a basketball player because they have different struggles. And how do you speak to that? So if you're not differentiating what makes your lip gloss or hair, or what is it special about what you have to offer to speak to those people who need it. Just the basketball players, just the football players, for an example. You're operating from an industry standpoint. And it's not enough to just say, I'm targeting women over 25 in the US, and that's my target audience. You cannot stop there. Okay, you have to think about where you can meet them at, where can you serve them, and this can apply for everything. And if you don't think these $1 million brands have niches, you are sadly mistaken. Even these big companies that we all know about, they have a specific group of people who they are targeting, and it's very specific. But I'm going to show you an activity to show you how specific they actually get. Okay, this is what big companies use, and I know they do, and I make my clients, we do something very similar to this. Is they create an ideal customer avatar. Okay, somebody put in the chat for me ICA, because you might hear me say that again. Ideal customer avatar. Okay, this is important. Your ICA is so important because this is who you need to speak to when you're doing whatever it is that you do. So you give them a name. I'm telling you, I worked with big brands. This is what they do. You give them a name, you create a bio. What do they like? What are their frustrations? What are their goals? What other brands do they frequent? What is their personality type, right? Are they more fickle, or are they loyal? Are they that kind of person? Do they have kids? If they have kids, or if they don't have kids, are they single? Are they married? Be very clear when you're creating your ideal customer avatar, AKA your ICA, and make sure that you give them a name so that when you make business decisions, for me, it's Alicia. So what would Alicia want me to do? You have to think about your ideal customers in mind. What is their income level? What is their demographics? What is their education level? You have to think about these things. You cannot just stop at women over 25, which is what I see common, very common. I target women 30 to 40, and then they stop there. Take it further, create this ideal customer avatar. Find out and get into their heads as to what motivates them, what frustrates them about similar products and services that they have, what keeps them up at night. Okay, you need to know that. And I'll tell you, it's so important, because we're going to look at a case study of a corporate client of mine that I worked with, who thought that she can just stop at women over 25. Okay, so Veridian was a corporate client of mine, and her photo is not pictured for obviously confidential reasons, but Veridian was a corporate client of mine, and she was barely getting sales in her business at all after 3 launch attempts. Okay, she was getting sales. Now you got to think, they're at a larger level, so she was still getting set. Her level of sales was different than us not getting any sales, but she still wasn't really getting that many sales. She launched 3 times. Okay, she was stuck with over 15K in inventory that she tried to sell. She was confused as to why all of her efforts weren't paying off, because she was like, listen, we got the money to invest this. We do this, we do that. She was ready to quit. She had other businesses in the service industry, but she was just now offering a product. And when I worked with her, I said, Veridian, you need to niche down further. You need a niche. You need an ideal customer. And she was like, no, because I know who I'm targeting. I'm targeting women 25 to 35, and that's my target. And I'm like, trust me, Veridian, when I tell you, she's a very stubborn woman. You need to niche. You need a clear niche. Okay. So we established her clear niche. We came up with her ideal customer avatar. We figured out exactly which level of the industry she's going to serve. We found the perfect diamond in the rough, as I call them, that untapped market. And boom, before you knew it, we evaluated her inventory, because she was able to find out that the products that she was offering is not going to work for her niche, right? It's not even what they want or desire. And we got her a new marketing strategy, and we implemented this is the start of where my 5-star launch plan came in at, is through with her. And she increased her sales within 12 weeks of her 4th launch by 75%. Okay. It makes a huge difference. And I know you're like, well, she has a very huge brand. What does that look like for me? I'll tell you this. Destiny is a client of mine. She's in the program now, and she attempted to launch multiple times, right? She had a women's wellness brand, and she thought that her biggest thing was, I just want to attract everybody. I don't want to leave this person out. I don't want to leave them out. I don't want to leave them out. And I'm like, girl, you're going to have to niche. So we went through the part of where I teach them how to niche and do all this good stuff. And how to actually, her biggest thing too was her unique advantage, just her foundation all over. We did a whole overhaul. And she realized now how important it was to really incorporate that and niche down, because now she's getting ready to launch and she already has basically pre-sold most of her inventory before she even launches. She has so much buzz. She has so many people wanting her to come in and talk about her products, and selling some already, just in person, that she hasn't even finished the online piece where she's getting ready to completely go out there. She's getting DMs on a daily, waiting for her to launch this brand. And it started with us getting very clear on her foundation and very clear on her unique advantage and finding that niche, that one sweet spot. That is how big of a difference it makes. Okay. So that's the first step. You got to get very clear on that. And that is the step that you cannot skip, and you have to take it very, very seriously. You have to. Okay. Number two, the second piece of that is communicate. Okay. And how do you communicate that? You communicate that with clear branding and messaging strategies. Okay. So everybody wants to skip to all of this stuff first, right? Let me just get my logo and let me just get my website and start posting and posting. And they haven't done the work in the first step, because if you don't know who your ideal customer is and you're not that clear on what it is that they need and their desires and their pain points and what is keeping them up at night, how are you going to communicate that to them to attract them? How are you going to say, I know what you need because I know exactly where you are, you having this problem, and I can help you solve it. Okay. And so when you see these brands, what is something that you notice when we're going to talk about messaging and branding and all of this kind of stuff. What do you think of when you see these brands? These brands, yes, they're established, but Fenty is pretty new. These brands have a way of communicating to who they want to communicate. They're very clear in who they want to target. Okay. Even if you don't realize it, they are. And what you notice about these brands is they have a very unique presence to them, a unique way that they do things that differentiates them from everyone else. Okay. But the thing is, they communicate that to their audience. But if you don't know who they are and you don't know what they need to know and what makes you different and your products doesn't solve a problem or meet their needs, that is why you're struggling with attracting people, because you're not communicating the right messaging and your branding isn't reflecting that. So let's give you a tip on how to do this. Find the gap. Okay. You're going to hear me say gap a lot. Find the gap for your ICA, okay? Your branding and your messaging should be heavily centered around the gap that you discovered in your niche work, okay? You want to make that gap seem wider and wider and wider so that they feel like you need me, not feel because they're going to need you, but you need my products because this is how bad you need it. I know your pain, right? Remember, you know exactly who they are and what their pain points are. And you're going to communicate that, and you're not going to be shy about it. You're going to psychologically communicate that I feel your pain and this is the gap, okay? And you will channel all of their desires and pain points and relay that through your messaging, through your website, through your logo, through all of this has to be centered around your ICA, okay? It's not what you want. It's not the colors you like. It's not the way you like the website. It's only focused on the gap that you found, the people that you said you want to serve, and you are going to channel all of that in your messaging. And I'll give you a prime example to use that is in the beauty industry. Fenty Beauty. And I love to use this as an example because this is a big one that many people, let me just tell you the genius of what she did and what I teach my clients, okay? When you find the gap, it's all about finding that problem that you're going to solve for them, okay? And highlighting it, highlighting it, highlighting it. There are a lot of celebrities who come out with brands all the time, and they flop. So it's not just because Rihanna was a celebrity that this foundation sold. She came out with one product. Rihanna knew that there was a problem with giving people an amount of shades that ranges for all different types of women, but more specifically, women from the lightest of pale to the darkest of darkest had problems finding foundations, finding solutions, and finding a foundation that will fit their skin. So what she did was she found the gap. You guys are untapped. You're my diamond in the rough. You, especially quote unquote women of color, you're struggling to get a range of colors. And she said, I'm going to give you 40 different ones and I'm going to tap into exactly what it is that you guys need. This is what you're missing. You're missing this right here. I'm going to solve that problem for you. And she used the stories of how she was on a set and one of the dark skinned models could not get a makeup artist to get the right foundation for her. And it was, so forth. And how some of them said they had to bring their own makeup. And so she said, that is a problem that I can solve with my product. So ask yourself, have you found the gap? And are you communicating that gap? So everybody say gap. Let me see gap in the comments. Finding the gap. The gap is important. You need to figure out what it is and highlight it in your messaging. Okay. Now, when we get into, I'm going to give you some elements that you need to consider of a great branding and messaging strategy that's going to help you bring it full circle. 3-part elements of a great brand. Okay. So there's great images and graphics, but remember, these great images and graphics is not as simple as just great images and graphics. It needs to literally highlight and target your ideal customer, and it needs to highlight what kind of transformation that they're going to get by the use of your products or services, right? And so you need to highlight that with quality. If you're going to be a premium brand, quality and great graphics and images focused on that, which leads to irresistible content. If you make the content so irresistible by showing them the gap and how you can fill that gap for them, and combine that with an easy buying process that fits their needs, right? Because when you do your research, you're going to find out if that person is computer savvy or what is their personality type. Do they not like it to be hard, right? Many people don't want to have to DM you or cash app you all the time to get, it's just, you need to know what they need. So that is the 3 elements of that great brand. And really the great branding and the messaging is how you're going to communicate what your brand is, right? One of my favorite definitions of branding is that it is truly your customer's gut reaction to your brand, that gut reaction that they get. And so that is what you're communicating through your marketing and your messaging is your branding, right? Your branding is what makes your brand, and it is your customer's gut reaction. So it's not totally about you. So you need to communicate that. So here's a pro tip on what I like to tell my clients about finding your brand. You're making sure your brand is meeting up to the standards to charge premium is 5-star end-to-end service. So you do need a quality logo and website, because let's just face it, if certain customers for premium brands are not going to want to look at your logo or website, does that say someone who is going to spend premium rates with you would want to buy? Like, genuinely ask yourself. You can look at some of these brands here, and if your logo, which is so important, doesn't completely fit that mold, ask yourself, would I spend $5,000, even if your product isn't $5,000, buying a Chanel bag if it didn't have that sort of look? Okay. So yes, that's a part of it, but really it's also about the level of service that you provide. All of this goes back into what makes you unique. It all starts at the foundation, right? You're just putting it into action. And what I like to tell my clients is try to master all 5 senses as much as you can throughout the entire process. And what do you want them to experience? Smell. What does it smell like? Not even just your products, but if they get the box, does it smell right? I've bought hair before and it smelled like sulfur. And I'm like, this is not how it's supposed to smell. Okay. So what does that smell? What is the speed? Is your service up to par, right? All of them, try to master all 5 senses, the touch, the look, the aesthetics of it. Try to get all 5 senses with 5-star end-to-end service throughout the entire process, okay? So that is number 2, is your branding and messaging strategy to communicate to the people that you've discovered you want to serve. Because that is literally the attraction. That is the number one secret that these top brands are doing to stand out. They are finding who is, and I also do not be afraid to do this, because if you walk down the potato chip aisle at your local grocery store, there's a million different types of bags of potato chips, but they all get somebody buying them, right? That's because each person has their lane and they stick to it. Okay. If you are vegan, you're probably going to go for a different type of potato chip than somebody else. But if you're like, no, I want the fattest and the worst chips that you can get because I just want to, that's what I want, then that's what you're going to get. Some other people are going to be like, I can't eat hot chips. I want to stick with this. So they're all getting sold. Everybody has just found their lane and they stuck to it. So do not ever feel like when you niche down and you communicate that, no, you're making yourself even more irresistible to people who feel unheard or feel like, wow, she can really solve my problems. She can really give me that transformation. It is number one. I'm telling you, it will make a difference. So let's get into number 3, cost. Okay. Cost is a big one because before you ever put your stuff out there, you need to have a solid, profitable pricing strategy. Okay. This is so important. Okay. Many people get this wrong. Let me tell you, you want to know how a 6-figure beauty brand could almost bankrupt someone, which was me in my case, had a 6-figure beauty brand and I almost went bankrupt because of it, because I didn't have the right profitable pricing strategy in place. So I was bringing in revenue, but I wasn't bringing in profits, okay? Because I priced my business off of emotion, and emotion pricing is dangerous, okay? So I highly suggest that how many of you may have been told when you were opening your business, or somebody may have told you, just price yourself really low and then get a bunch of people to buy and then go up on the prices? If you've ever been told that, put that in the comments. That you've been told that. Who's been told to, like, or who's thought, let me just start off really low and then try to attract a lot of people, and then I'll go up as I get more people. That is a dangerous game to play, okay? Because first of all, if you do all the work in step 1 and 2, I promise you, if you've done all of that, I promise you that you're not going to lowball yourself because your pricing is going to be justified. You have a problem. What I have serves and fills that gap. How many of you have spent money, big money, to solve your problems? That is why you need to highlight the problem that you solve, okay? Do not lowball yourself because you are, and there's a big reason for that, okay? Because we've been told that, and there's so many different reasons, but that is how you can have a 6-figure brand and still almost go bankrupt, because a lot of people are operating in revenue, okay? So the revenue formula is the typical formula that most people are pricing. How many of you have been like, okay, it's cost me $4, so I'm going to sell it for 8 or 10? And that's how you price your products. Okay, exactly. So how many of you have been operating that way? You've just been guessing, like, it cost me this much, I'm gonna just sell it. If it cost me 5, I'm gonna sell it for 10. Dangerous game, because there's so many other factors that go into having a clear pricing strategy that it really matters. So the revenue formula, I always put it in perspective for my students to say, okay, think of it as your paycheck. We all know about gross pay and net pay. Okay. Your gross pay is your check, the part of your check that we always wished we could have kept and took home, but it is the part of the check where it is before anything has come out. Look at that in your business as revenue. Okay. Now, the net pay is after insurance, Uncle Sam, your 401k, and everything else has come out, is what you bring home. That is actually your profit. So if you're pricing your business based off your gross pay and you haven't really completely considered all of those other things that's coming out your check, you're going to operate in the red. That's how I operated in the red. That's how I got customers, finally got the formula down. And then I was like, but I ain't got no money. How I'm in the red? I was operating with the revenue formula only. And this is where most people stay stuck, operating in the red. Okay. And let me tell you how important this is. One of my corporate clients, Claudia, let me tell you, her expenses were adding up. She was getting sales, but little to no profits. Okay. Her shipping costs were costing her almost 30% of her revenue at 70,000. 70,000. She was paying 70,000 in shipping. Now she was a larger company, but still she was paying $70,000 in shipping. And she was getting sales because that's why she was shipping so much, but she just wasn't bringing that home. She was operating in the revenue formula like most people do. I paid this, I'm gonna charge this. After that, I said, girl, we got to look at, you're going to have to get somebody to look at your books. You're going to have to charge more, because there's no way that you are going to be able to sustain. And this is the same boat that I was in. And we implemented her a clear pricing and profit strategy. We adjusted her packaging and her shipping strategy, because I know the shipping industry very well. We ended up saving her $30,000 in shipments and increased her profit by over 130%. All because she had to get a clear pricing and profit strategy in place. That is just how important it is. It is literally the difference between that. But let's put it in perspective of what that means. Sasha was a client of mine, and she doesn't have a beauty product because I had another business. In the same program, I had another program that helped other clients, but this still applies because she was overworked and underpaid. And she was just guessing in her pricing. And I remember she was telling me a story of how she assumed, she got ready to charge someone for her services, and she just kind of like assumed what they would have paid, which is what most of you guys are probably doing. You're just guessing. And then the lady told her, like, no, like, why are you charging that low? And so we had to deal with her barriers, her internal barriers as well. That's one of the things that we touch on in my program. But we got her a clear pricing strategies and put her some sales goals in place and really put some concrete numbers down to it so that she can meet her financial goals. And she's now charging what she's worth. And really now she feels compensated for her work and was able to increase her prices by 65%. So even though her business at this point is a side business and she doesn't do it as often, right? She has the ability, but now the fact of the matter is she was able to do that without losing customers. She was able to do that. And I guessed in my pricing, using me as an example, that's exactly what I was doing. And that is exactly what was keeping me stuck. Now, one of my clients in my program now, I have a pricing and profit calculator. I'm going to show you guys a snippet of what I mean, okay? This is just a very small part of the pricing calculator because obviously there's so many other things that goes in there. I have a system and a tool where I show my customers, they can plug in and see exactly what they need to charge in order to make their profit goals. And we looked at my clients, and I changed the names for confidentiality reasons, but we looked at what she had sold over the last 3 months, I believe. And we put it in based off her current pricing. And she did the typical logic that most people do. And these were her numbers, okay? We took that same logic. We came up with a full pricing strategy, including going up on the price of her products, okay? Because she had the service to justify it. She's done all of the things to justify it. And she knows exactly who her ICA is. So she knows the pricing is on par. And look at the big of difference that it made for her just by changing some things and changing her strategies. So how much money are you leaving on the table is the question. It is a big difference when you don't have a pricing strategy. You see these number differences versus when you do. So how much are you leaving on the table in your business? Okay, this was just by changing what she currently had, her current numbers before 4 months prior to her numbers when we plugged it in there to say, this is what you should actually, if you just went up on your price slightly, charge this, boom, look at the difference that it made. Okay, that is how important a profit strategy is. That is how important a pricing and profit strategy really is to the success of your business. So you need to have that. Okay, We're going to get into step 4, catapult, which is launching, of course. The 5-star launch strategy. Okay, so I'm going to ask a question because I know many of you can relate to this. You probably have been here before. How many of you worked on your business in private because you want to move in silence, right? You worked on your business, you worked on it so hard, you told a few people, and then you finally said, I'm about to launch, I got my website ready, and you created your post on Facebook or Instagram to your family and friends and said, I am here, I have arrived, my business is launched, now buy from me, right? Basically, that's what you're saying, right? That How many of you have launched that way? You just didn't say anything and then you just did your post to everybody and everybody shared it and you said, okay, I'm about to launch, right? I'm launching. Okay. That is how most people think that they're launching you think that you're launching a business, but that's actually not what's happening here. Okay. That's actually what we call a drop. Okay. So let's talk about the difference between launching versus dropping. Okay. Beyonce can drop. Let's put that in perspective. Beyonce can give us no notice and we still going whatever I know for me, if she drop an album right now, I'm downloading it. Whatever I got to do, she could drop it right now at this moment and I'm going to be off this line. Let me go see what she's doing. Okay. She can drop. She got it like that. We're not Beyonce. As much as, I love B, but I'm not B. Okay. You're not B right now at this point when it comes to a brand new brand. So you don't have the luxury to just drop with little to no further notice to an audience before you release. Okay. So how many of you have actually been dropping versus launching? Okay. Because launching is a planned and well thought out campaign that you really go through. And this is what $1 million companies do. No company just drops as a brand new company. They may drop different products if they're an established brand, but they're not just dropping. Okay. You just don't have the luxury to do that as a new business. Okay. So launching versus dropping. Okay. That is a big difference. Now, when you do a launch, here are some pro tips, but you want to creatively, you'll do your initial post, but you want to creatively build anticipation. These are just a few tips of what we talk about in the 5-star launch strategy. Obviously, I can't give everything right now. I wish I could, but start taking pre-orders and building your list. Host events, giveaways, sneak peeks, press releases. Get creative. Get people excited. And here's the real gag. The real tea about launching is that most people don't know is that when you're planning a product launch or even a service launch, you need to be utilizing a 30, 45, or 60-day launch plan. So for 30, 45, or 60 days, you need to have a new way that you're putting your message out there. And that can be launch parties, that could be a live, that could be a simple post on social media, that could be sending stuff to people on an email list, building your list, right? Doing things to build your list. You need to, a minimum launch is 30 days. So let's put that in perspective. Minimum, you need to get people excited for 30 days. Trust me, people forget if you don't. So when you're dropping, when you don't have the luxury yet to do so, and you'll get there, right? You can't just say, here, let me spring it up on you. You need to have a well thought out, implemented strategy for 30, 45, or 60 days in your launch plan. Am I making sense? Let me know in the comments. Put a 1 in the chat if that's making sense to you about launching, because the biggest misconception about launching is that people don't launch, they drop. Okay. Okay. All right. Moving on to the last one, the customer acquisition. Customer acquisition is so important because we now know who we want to serve. Okay. We now know how we want to serve them. We now know how we want to get that across to them through our messaging. We have our profit planned out. So we know that with this plan, we're going to meet our financial goals. Okay. We now have a launch strategy that is going to get people excited and anticipate me bringing this product out to the world. We've already been getting people ready to go, but do you have systems in place to constantly consistently keep customers coming in and out of your business. That is the biggest, most important element. That is the difference between you going to sleep and waking up to sales on a regular basis, as opposed to, oh my God, am I going to get a sale today? Am I finally going to get a sale? It is the difference. So, what is your customer acquisition like? Do you have a model in place to do that? That is the question. So, let's look back at the outdated marketing strategies we discussed earlier. And I'm not going to reread all of those, okay? But that's a lot. That is not a real system in place. Many people think they have a strategy when they do all of these things, or they think they have a system in place. That is not a real strategy or consistent strategy to have customers on a consistent basis, okay? The biggest thing that you need to have is something called a sales funneling system, or a sales funnel, okay? Somebody put in the comments funnel for me. Funnel. Your funnel is key, okay? Because a funnel is a systemic system to make sure that on a regular basis, people are coming in and out of here, okay? And when you have a funnel, this is your process to attract attention, okay? To pique their interest, to build desire that prompts action. And you notice it gets smaller as it goes down, but you're moving people through this process. This process could be quick or it can be short depending on what your product or service is. But this is a funneling system in place that moves people down this path, okay? So having a funnel is important because I found the best definition of funnel. I love this definition of a funnel by Marina Di Giovanni. She's an internet marketer. And she says, a funnel is a vehicle that takes strangers from not knowing you to knowing you to then buying your products and services. And that's exactly what you see when you see a funnel. I'm going to push you through this process. Customers, that again, that can be fast or that can be quick, depending on what you sell, depending on how much it costs. But the whole fact of the matter is you have a system to bridge that gap that is automated, that is not requiring you to bring them through this all the time by yourself and try to figure out where they are. So I'm going to show you what we call the buyer's journey. How many of you may have heard of the buyer's journey, or maybe you don't know about the buyer's journey? You might want to take a picture of this, screenshot it, whatever you need to do. This is courtesy of Rudy Marr, who is also a big time marketer. The buyer's journey is so important. And let me tell you why. The buyer's journey is about meeting your buyer where they are at. You use the funnel to track meeting them at every point of the journey. We all go through this buyer's journey, whether it's a quicker process with an impulse buy or not, but we're moving through this buyer's journey, okay? And so you've got to take them from being totally unaware, and here's some tips using your stories and your secrets, to now knowing they have a problem, letting them know the gap that's there, letting them know the benefits and anxieties, to showing them the solution, to showing them that your product meets that solution, to making sure that they are now most aware of your products and your prices, and they are now at a point where they are going to make a decision. You cannot skip any of these steps. The problem is you don't have systems in place in your business right now that's taking them through these steps, okay? It's not moving them through the process. You're probably posting here when they don't even know this, right? You're telling them about your product and they don't even know that there's a problem or a solution, right? They don't know any of this. And you're trying to do this because you're just doing it organically. So that's the problem when you're just posting and posting and posting like crazy, is you have no way of tracking and keeping up where someone is at on their buyer's journey. Every client is going to be in a different, or customer is going to be in a different place in the buyer's journey. And it is your job to put your information in your messaging and your products and meet them where they are on this buyer's journey. Because if someone is here, you don't have to go back to telling them all of this. They are fully aware. They know all of this. You need to meet them here in a different way, okay? To push them over the edge. But if somebody's here and you keep just harping over here, they're going to be like, okay, I'm done, right? You need to move them through the journey to make a decision, okay? And so you're like, well, how do I do that? The new marketing strategy says this is an example of how you do that. Okay. You have a targeted ad, and I mean laser targeted. I'm talking about extremely targeted, okay, with great content, okay? And you make sure this ad is shown to your ideal customers. If you remember what I said about an ICA, the reason why some of you guys have tried ads before and it didn't work is because you didn't know you didn't have an ICA. Okay, you weren't that specific on their behaviors. So you're using technology to do this for you to keep up with in your funnel where your customer is on their journey, and you're using systems to do this. Okay, then you're going to capture their email address or some way to capture their email address to build your own list. And the reason why this is so important is because you do not own Facebook or Instagram. Okay, they can shut those down today. Do you have your own list? Do you have these in place at this point? Something in place that keeps your customers on a list that you know exactly where they are in their buyer's journey. Because if Facebook and Instagram shuts down, a lot of people would be out of luck because that's where they've been depending on their leads and their customers to come in. Okay. Then once you've gotten their attention, this is moving them through the funnel and through the buyer's journey. You're going to have a nurturing sequence in place through an automatic process. There's something we call in the business a golden hour. That means you have an hour to begin this process or you're going to lose them. So when you're trying to post like crazy on social media, you're struggling because you're not able to capture that golden hour. That says that you have about an hour to 2 hours to start this process of nurturing them and indoctrinating them into what your products can do for them and letting them see that you need you. Don't miss the golden hour. Don't miss that opportunity. Again, that's totally impossible to do when you're just posting like crazy on social media. You don't have a sequence in place to say, the moment that I capture your information, I have you in my funnel now. You're in my funnel. Okay. So now I'm going to start this process through building your trust, letting you know why you, again, highlighting the gap. I'm moving you through the process. And for those who are still in your funnel at different points who don't purchase, you want to capture omnipresence, okay, through retargeting. That means I'm retargeting you. But you cannot do this. This is retargeting. When you retarget someone who was here that's now here, you're going to come back to them and meet them where they're at through retargeting. And you can only do that through technology, okay? You can only do that through retargeting strategies, okay? It's impossible for you to do that when you're just posting on Instagram without a strategy. So your systems in place that are going to be set up is going to make sure that you're everywhere, that they're going to keep seeing you, so that maybe I need to go check her out. Okay. Maybe I need to see what this lip gloss is doing, because every time I look up, she on my newsfeed or she on my Instagram and she's here and I got an email. You trust me, even if you bother them, they know who you are, right? Do not let this scare you. You're going to have systems in place. You have to have systems in place that is doing all of this for you. So what automated, okay? So what does that do for you? Okay, hear me out again. Targeted Facebook ads. I'm talking about really strategic targeted ads that captures what you need, that can meet your buyers where they are on that journey, is not the same as boosting posts. I'm talking about highly smart ads that is meant to capture your target audience, because boosting posts and one-off ads are not the same thing, and that does not work. You're actually wasting your money. You're actually wasting your money if you haven't done the work in steps 1 and 2 before you start running ads anyway. But boosting posts do not work. Running an ad here and there does not work. It has to be a part of a systemic process in place with other systems to go, because a targeted ad is only as good as the information and the systems that you have in place. So if you're running ads or have tried to run ads and you haven't gotten success, you probably were not running them correctly in a way that says, you want to make them feel like that you were reading their mind. And you can do that through this strategy. So if you've ever went on a website or Google search something, and next thing you know, you see an ad for it and you're like, see, they be paying attention, or they was reading my mind. I was just talking about this. That is what I'm talking about doing, okay? That is what my students learn how to do, so that you are always top of mind. Let me tell you why this is important, because it takes a customer 8 to 10 times. Actually, the number has went up. Okay. You know, I keep up with the numbers. It takes someone 13 times to see your product or brand before they even recognize it or start to consider it. Somebody put in there for me 13 times. Okay. 13 times. Do you know how much you have to post to meet someone organically at this level in the buyer's journey for them to recognize you 13 times? Okay. That is bananas. Okay. 13 times. And the number has went up because times have changed, right? It's too much. Everybody has so much information. So it used to be 8 to 10 and now it's 13 times. Okay. So you're getting lost in the sauce if you have not done any of the stuff above and you don't have systems in place to make sure that you follow through. Okay. So let's talk to Callie. Callie was someone as a client of mine. She's actually a friend of mine too, but is an actual paying client that was in my program. And she was struggling to even get started. She was overwhelmed. She had information paralysis bad. Like she just was all over the place and she just wasn't getting traffic. And she played the family and friends game where she was, every time she did a new thing for her business, she would post it on her personal page. And, she was just depending on that. And so I started working with her and we started putting some of these strategies into place. And she hardly ever posts on her personal page now. And her traffic alone has increased by 200%. 200%. Okay. Let's use me for an example, because I can tell you, for someone who has a beauty brand who did this, the difference that it made in my consistent, I didn't have to stress so much about where is my next customer coming from, because I already know I have a funnel in place. I have people that I'm building a relationship with through my email marketing, through my nurturing, through my building the trust. They're in my pipeline now. They're mine. Okay. When you don't have a funnel, everybody's all out here. When you have a funnel, you get them in this process. You at least have them in that stage. So why does this work? This strategy replaces the need to post constantly on social media organically. Okay. You can post when you want to post. Start YouTube channels, buy followers, spend hours building your followers that may never buy. Guess. You won't have to guess now if you're being visible to your target audience, because you are definitely, absolutely going to get directly in front of your ideal customer and 30 million other people, or however many people that you want to look just like them or have similar behaviors and attributes. You're not guessing if it's done right. You have systems in place to move them through the buyer's journey to capture whatever the needs of or where they're at. And you're not having to manually market and nurture your audience manually, which would take years to make sure you can completely move somebody through the process consistently. You would be working too hard. We're not trying to work too hard in 2021. We want to work smart. So this makes sure that you're able to get your right message in front of the right people, minus the headache. You set all of these systems up, you let it do its thing, and you have a customer attraction model. Okay. So how do you accomplish this? This is the overall strategy. Obviously, I can't teach you everything in one night, but you got to get that irresistible content and a clear brand and message in front of the right people 24/7 at all times, using your automated sales process and a sales funnel so that you're gaining customers while you're sleeping with minimum efforts. Okay. Then you'll post on social media, you'll have an organic strategy, but it won't be as pressing. And it's a very clear strategy, right? You have a goal, you have an end goal when you do post and leverage your organic traffic, right? Because organic traffic is still important, but it should not be your, oh my God, if I don't post today, I'm not going to get buyers. Okay. It's just not important. You're able to gain customers while you're sleeping with minimum effort. You're waking up, you're on a boat in Dubai and your phone is going off saying that you've gotten some orders. Okay. That's what this does. And when it's done right and correctly, I promise you, there is no way that it will not work. Trust me. So what are you going to do? You have two options. Continue to stress out about what's next for your business, or give yourself permission to be extraordinary and live the life of your dreams, and take a moment to imagine what your life would be if you had that in place. How many, like a lot of you are probably right now just confused and you don't know, to have the clarity, to have systems that's working for you, that you know that you're getting customers all the time and not worrying about where your next customer is. Can everything you imagine really happen for you? Okay. We've heard from a lot of people tonight, and I know you're wondering how did they overcome their roadblocks? Okay. Simple. They did the last step. They implemented all of this. And I would be lying if I said it was easy to implement all of this, because it takes work. But once it's set up, you're going to be, I'm so glad I did. And so you're probably like, well, Fatima, how do I implement all of this? And you have a couple of options. Option A is you can DIY your business. I've given you the steps. You can start doing the research to figure out how to do it more specifically. In that, with this option, you can take what you've learned today and start implementing it. If you go that route, I want you to get some additional resources, because no pressure on my end. And so here's some of the books that you'll need: Business Boutique, The Lean Startup, Good to Be Great, and The 4 Hour Work Week. If you want to screenshot this, go ahead and do so. You'll also need some additional books on branding and marketing and finding your niche. And keep watching more webinars and try to piece it together. Eventually, you will come up with the strategy. You have the steps now. You now know why you need these steps and how important it is to get these steps. Or you can get a coach, okay? Having the right mentor eliminates fear and doubt and rids you of information paralysis. You're knowing that there is someone with the exact roadmap that you need makes all the difference. A community, the right coach, and proven systems is what's been missing, okay? So we've covered a lot. We've revealed the 4 roadblocks standing in between you and your coin. We've outlined the 5 steps. And now I want you to just clear your mind and imagine what your life would look like if you had all the tools you needed. How different would things be for you if your business did not have to constantly stress about getting new customers? How different would things be for you if you were making consistent profit every month? Okay. Fatima, you're a coach. Do you have a proven system? I absolutely do. I have a program called the Beauty Boss Accelerator, and I'm not here to sell this to you tonight, but I'm here to let you know that I do have a solution if you are in this step or in this process that gives you everything you need step by step to make sure I get you from point A to point B. It covers everything. It covers the how, the when, the why, the exact information that you need to get you there. Okay. My signature program is designed to get consistent customers paying you what you're worth while you build a premium brand. It is one of a kind program. It is one of a kind because it is comprehensive. It is truly going to help you go from not having a foundation on to having a brand that is long lasting, that is going to have you set up for success to consistently bring in customers. Okay. Here's what someone had to say about actually going through the program. Kristen was a client of mine in my old program, and this is what she had to say about how it changed the game for her. And she's saying the lectures, the breakdown. I'm not going to read all of it, but she just said that there's no stone unturned. Okay, it covers your bases, and there's no fluff. Okay, so you probably have a ton of questions. Where do I start? What software do I use to make all of this work? How do I niche down in my business? How do I retarget? I've tried ads. How do I know how to really be effective and be omnipresent with my ads? And how do I create a sales funnel? And so these are all great questions. And if you're asking yourself these questions, it means that a powerful shift has happened for you. This tells me you started to believe something bigger. You want more freedom. You want to start building a legacy. You want an empire. You want to finally offer something to the world that you're passionate about. So if you have questions, it's totally normal. We've covered a lot, and I can definitely help you answer some of these questions. Because everyone's goals are different, I can't answer specific questions during this training tonight, but I can still help you. So my team and I have set aside some time to speak to you about how you can apply and figure out what's holding you back of these principles that we spoke about tonight in your business, specifically starting today. Okay, so there is a link in the chat to book your call. Okay, so you get 60 minutes. It is a free free call, right? We talk about your business goals, your current roadblocks, and how to overcome them. And then we talk about any next steps that you need to meet that goal, and if you're a right fit, and if I can help you. And in this call, we'll work together to discover and identify what elements you are missing to achieve a premium brand and any limiting beliefs that's keeping you from meeting your goal. And we'll talk about a strategy that I have or that you can implement that will allow you to consistently attract new customers so that you can start securing the bag. So this breakthrough call will give you some much needed clarity and cut through some of the fluff and gimmicks found online today. And so you're probably wondering, how much will this amazing call cost me? And it's nothing. It's absolutely free. But here's the deal. It's not for everyone. This call isn't for you if you make excuses and are only looking to cast blame. You look at starting a business as just a side hustle. And if you're experiencing any skepticism at any moment today, listen, I respect skepticism. If you have some skepticism, you can always email me, DM me. Anybody that's ever reached out to me, know I'm happy to answer your questions, but this call is not the place for that, right? So if you are ready to start making real changes to obtain the lifestyle you desire, and you're tired of guessing and you're ready to take your business to new heights, and you are committed to creating a premium brand that stands out, if that sounds like you, click the link in the training to secure your spot for this call. I've opened up my calendar. I don't even do calls on Fridays, but I have a few spots tomorrow. And so if that is you and you really want to talk about your business and we can really figure out, you're going to click that link in the chat. You will be taken immediately to a scheduling page. And when you get there, you choose a date and time, you answer a few questions, and then we will call you at that time. So to prepare for the call, you need to have a pen and paper ready to take some notes, and space is limited. So you want to grab your spot now. Do not wait to get valuable information that could really help you. Click that link and book your call. All of the women that I've helped started by booking this exact call. It was an easy decision for them. They came prepared with their pen and paper ready to change their lives. Okay. And so at this point, I'm going to stop and I'm going to take some questions if we have any. I see a couple here in the Q&A that came in the private Q&A, and I'll answer that. Okay. Will this work for any product-based business? It will work for product-based business because it is the same strategies and similar strategies and thoughts and processes like that. But it's just the examples and the specific things I use is more tailored towards beauty brands. But the strategy will work for a product-based business because it's a product-based business, the same concepts. So any product-based business that you have, it can still work for. Again, just many of the examples that I use are just going to show more beauty brand based. Okay. I have another question. How much does the program cost? Okay, so I told you guys I would not be selling. There would be no sales presentation at the end and all of that. And I meant that. I wanted to give you guys some valuable information. So what we do and the way it works is if we find that you want to work with me, if we have a breakthrough call and we determine we're a good fit and you're ready to get started, then we can discuss investment at that point. But what I can tell you is that effective July 1st, the price is going up. So I do know that. So if it's anybody who has wanted to work with me before then, you might want to get in the program now because July 1st, the price is going to increase. But again, I do not want to really talk about sales. Again, I do want to book calls to talk to those women who really are serious, but this is not, I'm not going to sell. We're not going to talk about the price of the program and all of that. Any other questions that I have, feel free to send it in the Q&A if you want it to be a private question, or you can put them in the chat. It don't have to be about the program. It can be about anything that you learned tonight, any of the concepts that you want more clarity on, or anything like that. Okay. All right. So here's the bottom line. You have a bad business model and an outdated marketing strategy, and you have not taken the right action. You maybe even got scared and decided not to go for it at all. With the right coach, you can get past all three of these issues. The right coach has a proven system that you can follow, has overcome the roadblocks that you're currently facing, and is available to help you on your journey. So when you find someone, whether it's me or not, I don't do pressure in my program. If you're my client and you're meant to be mine, you'll be mine, right? So find someone with a real system that will hold your hand through the process. You tried this on your own and you have not yielded the results that you've been craving for, okay? So when you find that program, join immediately so that you can begin making moves today. So again, click that link and schedule your breakthrough call. I would love to talk to you about your business, see if I can help you. And even if we determine that I can't, give you some good information. So if you did have any other questions that you wanted to answer privately outside of this, feel free to email me at info@theambitionacademy.cc. It is in the chat. And so let's get into who the winner of this free coaching call and the $250 is. Okay. So I want to sow into someone's business with $250. And so when I announce this winner, I am going to need that winner to just send me an email to the email below so that we can work everything out. I can give you a link to schedule your call and get the money to you. Okay. So can I get everybody in the comments, say ready if you're ready for me to announce the winner? If you are ready to announce the winner. Got it, got it, got it. Okay. So the winner is, let me check. My team is been in the background calculating for me. Okay. So the winner is Camellia Herring. So team, would you guys be able to put that in the chat so that they can know? Okay. Go ahead and send me an email. Let's get on this coaching call. We're going to talk to you about your business, and then we are going to get you this money, girl. So send me an email to I see a couple of you have booked some calls. How many more of you going to book some calls? Because we got a few calls actually. Go ahead and book those calls if you have not. If you have not booked a call, go ahead and book that call. Because listen, if you're ready, I want to help. Okay. So congratulations. Send me an email. So that way we can get that over to you and we can schedule your free coaching call. It is going to be a free 1-hour coaching call. And so thank you ladies again for joining. I would love to stay connected to you all. So you can, I don't know why it's cutting off half of it, but anyway, follow me on Instagram, email me if you have any other questions, visit my website, and click that link to schedule your breakthrough call. Let's talk it out. If you're ready, let's see what we can do to help you so that you can move forward. Okay. So y'all have a good night and congratulations again, Ms. Heron. Congratulations. And thank you all to everybody else who joined tonight. If it was valuable, please let me know. Comment, send me an email. Let me know if it was valuable. In fact, type value in the chat if it was valuable for you. I want to know. Okay, let's see. I think I got some more calls coming in. All right, that's good. Booking these calls. Yes. Okay. So that's perfect. I will see y'all. I'm glad it was valuable. Stay connected with me. I do mini live trainings. I'm about to start back doing my mini live trainings with just different topics throughout. This was just kind of like the full strategy, but different topics back on Instagram. I'm going to start doing those again. So stay connected to me so that you can get in on those trainings and hear more and more valuable information. So y'all have a great night. Love you ladies. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.